Oh, okay. All right. Hello, everybody. A couple of weeks again, and in general, like if you don't care about the intro, just skip forward a couple of seconds because this is streamed live. There is no editing. Yes, it's been a couple of weeks, but I have finally finished client work. Well, just about anyway. Um, and I know this is on a different day, but I'm going to try and get back into regular schedules. I'm going to try and stream twice a week coming up soon. I am moving at the end of next week again, so there'll be a new environment and all that sort of stuff. I'll have the camera set up properly and better lights and all that sort of thing. But this time around, we are. Well, let's just have a quick recap of last time, because I think the only thing we really got through last time was this cloud storage stuff that we took a look at. And this was the dependency that we brought into our app that kind of gives us like this property wrapper for iCloud key value store. And what we did is we stored the star sign in that. That's all pretty much all I can remember. It was quite a while ago now. This time around, what I want to work on is I want to do some background mode stuff. So like I want to schedule a astrology, like read like a horoscope in the background, like say, I don't know, a couple of minutes past midnight every day. I wanted to do a fetch and then store it. And I think the best place to store that information is probably in the core data, Swift data stuff. So I'm going to try and do a bit of both. I can't do one without the other, obviously, because you can't really. I mean, I could store it in user defaults for now, maybe just for the stream, and then get into the Swift data side of stuff on the next one. But we'll see how we go. The main priority today is to be able to trigger a horoscope fetching from ChatGPT at like 5 past midnight or something like that, depending on the user's zone. So, as usual too, if you got questions and stuff like that, you can add them in the chat, and I will follow along and answer them. I am drinking this energy drink that I got for free at PAX. It's not. I mean, I'm not going to say it's any good or whatever, but don't judge me on it. It's been a long day. Okay, I think everything's working. If it's not, let me know. Like I said, it's been a little while. And then okay, so yeah. So what I'm doing is I pulled up this tutorial. I'm not sure, like I haven't read too much through it yet, but we'll take a look and see if I can follow along with it and get what I need from it. My dog is over there and he's making like whiny sounds, so I'm kind of worried he's going to start barking at me in a minute, as he usually does, because he gets to the point where he kind of like really wants cuddles and things. What have I done here? I think I've accidentally triggered something in the video. Is the video now paused? Okay, hang on a second. Oh no, what have I done? What if I turn this? Oh no. I accidentally did like a thumbs up in the camera, and I think it's broken. Okay, let's switch over to. Oh no, my camera's broken. Oh, what a wonderful start to the stream. Okay, what can I do here? Wonder if I can this new version of Mac OS has this thing where like if you do like a pose at the camera, it'll do like a thumbs up, but I think OBS just broke because of it. I don't want to close OBS because I know that's just going to end the stream. So, oh no, maybe you could just hear my voice. Maybe that'll work. Let me just scooch my. I'll keep myself just in the corner there a little bit. Okay, we'll keep going. Let's just keep going. We're wasting some time here. Okay. 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 All right. So it says here we need to add background mode to our Xcode project in the capabilities. So let's do that. By the way, this is the website. You should be able to see that there. This is the one we're looking at the moment. I want to give credit where it is due. So this person has created a nice tutorial for us. So let's do this. So I need to go to the targets. I have to open up signing capabilities, and we got to check the background stuff. So it looks like we've got must add background mode. It seems as though we don't have a background mode. We have background fetch, we have background processing. I'll just have a quick look in this list and see if we get background in here. Nope. So it must be one of these. It must be like processing or something. Let's read ahead a little bit further. You should choose background fetch. Oh, there we go. One more sentence after. In the list of available background modes to enable your app to make network requests in the background. Let's see how we can schedule a background task. Okay, so cool. Let's go background fetch. So we've just selected that. That's excellent. Also, if you're not part of my Discord, I had a little bit of a conversation over there recently about so like I'm getting to the point now where I've almost got enough watch hours up for to get YouTube partner, which means the channel can be monetized. I'm not sure what I want to do about that yet. You can go over to this Discord if you want to have a chat about it. I don't like the idea of putting sponsorships in videos and things like that. I could do that now, but I don't need to wait on YouTube for that though. Because there are people out there who pay for premium who don't like you pay for premium to avoid ads, and it's kind of annoying when you get like sponsorships in the middle of them. So I'm going to not do that. But I think the best thing for it is maybe we could try ads, and then I would have like the Patreon where I like release all the source code on Patreon, right? So I used to have this links to the source code in the comments, in the description of the videos, but I might start moving that over to Patreon because, oh, well, you know, like I need to be able to support this somehow, right? If I want to try and do it a little bit more often, twice a week and all that sort of thing. But anyway, there's discussions over there if you want to go check it out. The link to the Discord's in the description. So I don't know what background processing does, but it seems like we don't need to worry about that. And then afterwards, it looks like we need to create. So the way we do this now is a little bit different to how we did it in UIKit, which is why I need to look up a guide because I just haven't done this. I think I've done this once in one other app. Is my face annoying there? Should I just move it up? Yeah, that works. Let's just do that. Because I don't need to be in view, do I? Okay. So it looks like we need to create a new file. And we need to schedule one of these. Okay, so we've got a function that we can use, and we give it an identifier, BG task scheduler, and we submit the request. As you can see in the example above, we have the schedule app refresh function using the shared instance of BG task scheduler to schedule an app refresh task. An app refresh task should have a unique identifier. We must also define the list of all the identifiers in the info.plist file with the permitted background task scheduler identifiers key. Now we can call the function from within the SwiftUI app lifecycle. So it looks like window group, we got on change of phase. So scene phase, I think, is when like the app goes into like the background or foreground, or it gets terminated in some way. Like every time like the phase changes. I don't know if that also applies to like on iPad when you have like multiple scenes open. Could probably look into that. But on the change of that, looks like we're doing a schedule an app refresh in the background. So here we schedule a background task as soon as the user leaves the app. We can tune the timing of the task by using the earliest begin date property on the instance. Okay, so it looks like we can add time intervals and things. So what we want to really do is schedule this for like a midnight thing. So what I might do is just jump straight into here and just like, I don't know, what do you think? Just put it directly in here. Oh man, I wish my camera feed wasn't broken. I'll have a play with it a little bit. Okay, so we've got our model container. This is for our okay, so it looks like we already did some work on the daily horoscope. So we've got the date, we've got a message here. So this is all ready for Swift data, core data setup. So it looks like we got that ready to go. I'll see if we're using this anywhere. What we got? We go show callers. No, we can't do that. So let's just see where else we've got it in our app. So we've got daily horoscope view. Okay, so we did do a bit more work last time with storing this stuff, but it looks like We got when it comes in, we go background on appear, we get latest horoscopes first. Oh yeah, we did it. We did a bunch of work like this. Yeah, okay, so if the horoscope is already loaded, yeah, I'm remembering now. So if the horoscope is already loaded, we fetch the one that's on this day, today. If it hasn't loaded, it will fetch a new one. What our goal is for today is to not, we want the app to not run this code at all. That is our goal. We don't want it to run this code because we want this code to be run 5 past midnight. Right, and then potentially during the stream, we'll see if we can get a notification sent to the user too, and we'll send it like, I don't know, 7 a.m. or something, saying, "Hey, your latest horoscope is ready," or something like that. Wake up. And then maybe later on in the settings, we could put, like in this screen, we can put settings for it saying like, when do you want to be notified? Like every morning, when it's ready, as soon as it's ready, whatever it might be. Because some people work night shifts and stuff, right? So they might not want to be woken up or alerted with a notification at 7. Maybe they want it immediately as it comes through on that day. But yeah, the goal is so that this code doesn't need to be run because we have always have a horoscope prefetched, ready to go. So that should be simple enough because we've got this function here that says get horoscope. We're going model, get horoscope. We wait for it, we insert it into the core data, Swift data system, and then we save it. And it looks like we've saved it. And I guess once it updates up here, I suppose we'll get a new... Yeah, as soon as it updates, this gets refreshed and then we get our text. Yeah, so I was getting a little confused here because I figured, down here we need to apply the information, the text we get, the current horoscope's text, but instead it comes through up here on the model when it changes. So that's good. Okay. This should be fairly straightforward then if we just follow along what we've got here. I could make this a little larger so you can read it. I think what I'll do is I'll put a link. Let me just grab this and I'll do that now before I forget. I'm just going to slide out this window. I'll just chuck this in. See if I can do an edit on the description here. And this will be background modes. I'll just save that in there. That should be on the description now. I think if you refresh, you should see it. You can read along. I'll throw it in the chat as well. Okay. Cool. Okay. I'll just move out my freeze frame again. I wonder if I can change the video to something else, like my laptop camera, and then we'll go back. So hello, and then I change it back. Oh, look, it works. Okay, cool. So just going back and forth. Okay, so what I will do, I will refrain from holding my hands up to the camera and doing gestures. Here we go. This is okay. Actually, I liked the other camera looked a lot better than this one. It's just poor lighting. Okay, so we need to go. Oh, we can do on change of phase, but here's the thing. The difference is that every single time we get what we want to do is so in this case we got schedule app refresh in this guide, right? We're running this. What we want to do at the end of the entire process, once a new horoscope has been fetched, we need to set up a new schedule app refresh. We need to do that again so that it happens every day. Otherwise, it's only going to happen once, right? So like if the person doesn't open up their phone for like a week, they should be able to open it up and have like 7 of these loaded up, right, in their history. And I think that's important. So otherwise they'll skip days and stuff. Unless there's some reason for me to give them an incentive, like you gotta check in every day and then you get something, but that seems very freemium-ish to me, so let's not do that. Okay, so we'll do... I mean, maybe we'll just go on a peer. So when the app first launches, we just do a schedule if there isn't one already scheduled, right? So what we can do here is write this function and we'll just say schedule, instead of app refresh, let's call it horoscope reading, I suppose. And then we just go request. We need to import background tasks here. Nope. Background tasks, and then we just go bg app refresh task request. The identifier will be horoscope reading, because we may in the future have different ones, so keep it as specific as possible rather than just my app refresh. And then we'll just go with a try bg task. Now I don't know how we're going to be able to test this unless we stay up all night and wait. I'll just have to get back to you on it, I guess. Okay, so what we need to do is apply it here. And then what we'll do is we'll just say schedule horoscope reading. I think that works. Looks good to me. It's pretty much the same, except instead of scheduling this on the scene change, we're just gonna do it when the app launches. That's fine. Okay, so app refresh task. To handle app refresh task in SwiftUI, we have the brand new background task modifier that we can attach to any scene. That's helpful. Okay, so does that mean, what does model container return? Some scene, so we can attach it down here as well, which is our background task, and we just go app refresh. Oh, what other ones do we get? Do we have others? URL session. Oh, what's the difference between these? Huh. Should actually call it refresh ID. Now we'll call it ID. And I just want to throw this up here just so it's a little bit cleaner. And then here we just go I know it's longer, but did I spell that correctly? What I'll end up doing, it probably is moving this somewhere else. But I want to keep this project fairly clean if I can. Long time, yeah. I'm sorry. It's been a long, long time. I really enjoy doing these, but I just haven't had the time. Anyway, how are you? How is everybody who's watching? All 6 of you? What have we got? What am I looking at here? New on change of new phase background app. Okay, so it looks like not bothering with this, I suppose. That compiles. Okay, cool. Looks like we can get away with that. Okay, so what they're doing here is they're doing their URL request. They're grabbing data. What are they doing? Decoding it to a product. Okay, so in our case, we need to. We might. Let's take a look at the. Where are we? Horoscope view model here. So this is what's doing the request. I'm just thinking now whether we should just copy we should reuse this, but I wonder if there's a way we can change it up a bit so it's easier to access. But I think it's probably fine to just call it directly, right? That'll be okay. And then what we get back out of this when this changes, yeah, see, that's not going to work. Or maybe it will. So, okay, so let's say we go horoscope model, and we just go horoscope view model like this, and then we say await horoscope view model, and then we just go get horoscope for, and then we pass through the user's information here. And then once this is done, we do the save to core data here. I feel like I want to wrap it in a I don't know what to do. I don't know what the cleanest way of doing this is, because I guess. Hello. Welcome. In the horoscope view, what I did, I opted to so you do the request, you get the horoscope from ChatGPT, and then afterwards we save that to the Swift data, just these 3 lines, right? It doesn't get horoscope, does not save it, and I think that's good to keep that separate. So this is only just the request, but I'm kind of like toying with the idea of putting in the ability to save it down here as well. I feel like that's probably not quite right? Because this is the view model for the horoscope. Now what we're doing is we're using it elsewhere off the daily horoscope view, so it's not being used. So it's being used on the horoscope view, and it's also being used in the background task, which doesn't feel right to me. Can you tell me from where to learn complete? What? What is that? Do I need to Google this? Ah, okay. No idea, because I am pretty much a front-end dev. Yeah. There's plenty of tutorial on Mern on YouTube. Yeah. There's going to be other creators and stuff who will be way better at teaching you that than I could, and I wouldn't even know where to look, because that's not the sort of work I do. Most of the work I do is just iOS development. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. I do some backend stuff with Vapor, like Swift Vapor, and that's going to actually fall into this project. So what we'll do is we'll have a okay. So what I want to do at some point in the future is have like a backend for this app that will fetch I don't know, something from ChatGPT that a lot of people will see in the app. So it might be like the daily affirmations. I might not generate them per person, because I think it would be interesting to have everyone's devices like pull. How's learning curve with Vapor? As someone who had done zero backend work before trying out Vapor, I found it to be sort of challenging. But there's a lot of good content out there, and the documentation that they have is fairly decent. It's just like it's a different way of thinking. I think if you've done backend work before, it's going to be easy. Like if you've done backend work and routing and controllers and things like that, like you'll be fine. You'll be fine, especially if you already know Swift, right? But because I hadn't done any of that stuff, it was a really weird way of thinking to me, because I wasn't used to it. But yeah, I eventually got through it, and it's fine. I enjoy it a lot, actually. It's a little bit weird the way it interacts with like HTML and stuff. I found that I was making a lot of mistakes, a lot of typos, and there's stuff that, because it uses like templates and stuff, right? Like .leaf files, which is basically HTML, but you can put curly braces in there and pass through values and stuff. it's rather limited in what you can do. So you kind of have to, if you want to do anything complex, you got to know JavaScript, which I don't. So I just copy it from other people. But yeah, it's fine. Right. So yeah, what am I doing here? I don't know what to do. Oh, we just borrow it. We can clean it up later, right? We just borrow it. It's fine. So on the view, we need access to. So we've got the date, which would be. Oh, we've got the star sign and the tone. So the tone is provided by. I suppose we can just copy both of these. And then we've got them. I don't like the idea of throwing these in the in the entry point for the app, but we can. What am I looking for? Cloud storage. But this works, I guess. So let's go for star sign and the tone. Yeah. What have we got? What have I done? We've got the. So I'm passing through this. Oh, I got to wait. Star sign here. Got we're doing a check there. Yeah, true. So if the user opens the app, so on first launch of the app, you see this set up, right? And because this is and what happens is, because the way we've got this set up, this code, like this schedule code, will get run. And if they haven't chosen a star sign, it's not going to work. So we can just right, we can just do this and pass that through there. Yeah, so if they launch the app, don't actually select anything and just close it, they won't have a star sign. And then we've got, what do we got? Is that correct? I guess that makes sense because we've got to wait. Oh, this is kind of annoying, hey? All right, hang on. Let me see what we've got here. We've got... This should be fine. What am I doing here? Why is this async, but it's not? Because it works fine. It works fine over here. We haven't got any async stuff going on here. Task. The error could be in the wrong spot, right? Let's throw these in. I think the error's in the wrong place. No, it's not. Interesting. Is the background task async? Okay. We should be fine. We probably don't need that task in there then. Yeah. Okay, this is weird. I hope this isn't some strange limitation with what we've got in this cloud storage. That's not going to change anything, is it? Okay. There's also the possibility that we don't have access to the iCloud key value in the background. Because if we don't have that, that's going to be a problem as well, isn't it? Let me just have a doodle on that. Background task iCloud key value store. See if we can get access to it. Doesn't seem... There's nothing helpful there. Anybody got any ideas? Because this isn't... Is there any way we can grab this value from somewhere else? That's the only spot. All right, I have an idea. So what we could do is maybe if we make this an optional, and we go, I just want to see, what happens if we still get an error by doing it this way. Okay, we do not. Okay, so that fixes it. So we can pass through an optional to get Horoscope for sign, but at the call site, it doesn't really, like here, we're not really getting any indication that if we pass through a nil, because it doesn't return anything, right? So because it doesn't return anything, we can't check it. So we can't say like check for nil or... Should it return? Instead of setting this, should it return something? Because then that means this would detach it from a view in a sense, right? So if we get rid of this, the views can listen to is loading if it cares. Because in the view, you would care about that. And then here we could just do a return. Okay, we're going to change a couple of things in the app. I think this makes more sense. Instead of calling it a view model, we'll just call it model or horoscope service, because that pretty much is the networking stuff, right? And if we do a return here, and then on the catch, when something fails, we can return nil. Let's put the error up here. And then what I'll do is string. But what we'll do is we'll change this to the... Oh, this is a good idea. Let's do it. So what we'll do is we'll change this to the actual model object, right? So if we go to daily horoscope view and we, what do we got? This value, we could change it. So we go return nil up here. We'll say daily horoscope. Okay, so that'll be optional. What we could also do a little bit later on, maybe change it from an optional and just have it like it throws an error. And then we won't say something broke. And then down here, we can create our daily horoscope. And now this doesn't have to be something that is saved to Swift data. Like it just returns. So we say this is the date that it was created, and we just pass through that string. And then, oh yeah, because this is optional too. We just return, you are going to die today. Just kidding. Something. So if something goes wrong, we don't want to store it, do we? Let's throw an error. Async throws, and then up here we'll just create an error, which would be horoscope error, and then we'll just go let's say, what do we got? We've got a try, await, a try. So we don't need any of that, I don't think. No, we'll keep it there because I want to throw different errors depending on what the problem is. So we get a... if the request fails, if the encode fails, if the decode fails, we get into this catch here. And then we need another one like the message, if the message. So let's say request failed, and then so down. Oh yeah. No star sign. So we'll say throw horoscope error, no star sign. So we can do that there. Oh, we've got to conform to error. We could just throw our, just have the network stuff come through, and then we can check it at the other end. That's probably fine. Code after return will not be, yeah, that's fine. So we'll remove that. We want to go false. And then we just want to do a little check here. So if we go, let's get rid of the request failed, and let's just say, no horoscope returned, I suppose, and that'll be the error here. So if let message, and then we just pass this in here, and then we'll go message. Okay, are we all following along with what I'm doing? Does anyone know what's going on, or no? Oh, okay, let's do it the other way. Guardlet. Let's do guardlet message else, and then in here we will throw, and we'll just say horoscope error, and then we'll go no horoscope returned, as in like nothing came back in our message content from ChatGPT. Like this broke. Okay, and so what we get out of this, now that we've got the error here, if we go back to where we call our this chunk of code, and then we go into let's just do a build and find where the errors are. Okay, so we can't horoscope model, horoscope service, sorry, done, there we go. This text is no longer a thing for us, so what we can do now is create a state. Your load, we'll just call it loading, right? Loading your horoscope for today. And then we'll do some like localization and stuff like on this later. And this will have horoscope text, scope text. And then down here, when we do the get latest, we'll say message. So all we need to do here is just say horoscope text, and that's our message. So that's correct. So this is loading from the store, from core data. I keep thinking, because I've got two running through my head, Swift data. This is loading from Swift data because we've got the horoscopes array, which is all the horoscopes that have been created and stored in Swift data, and that gets fetched like when this view loads. So we've got a query up here that just fetches all of them, and they should be already sorted by date, because they go in. Each one just gets appended or inserted or whatever. And so okay, anyway, and then so we've got this task. We've got get horoscope. So down here, what we can do now is, instead of needing this, we say get horoscope. This returns model, so we can go wait, try. So we need to have our do catch here as well. Let's grab this, and we got catch. And the cool thing about having this down here is that now we can set an error message if we wanted to. So right now I'm just going to print like the error localized description. But what we could do is throw in like set another, or we can even set the horoscope text and just say, hey, we could not load. Let's do that. Scope text. And the other great thing with this is that what if you get this message, right? So it fails, we hit this catch block, we say could not load your horoscope at this time. If the user like restarts their app and comes back to the page, it will try to do another load. And the reason for that is because we haven't stored this into the core data. Right, so the horoscope hasn't been stored. So next time they load this page, it will detect that it hasn't been stored and will run it again, and it'll just keep running. You have to reset the app, or so what we might do later on is like add a button on this screen under this text, which is like retry, so they don't have to close the app again. Let's add a little retry button, and this will be super easy because all we need to do is just call this again. In the retry, in the button action, right? We just call this function inside the button action. Oh, I got something in my eye. So this is gonna be cool. All right. So we got await, try, must proceed, await. Oh, try, await. Yeah. Try, await. It's weird. This little warning. It doesn't actually. It's not an issue. Okay, so we got a horoscope. We insert the horoscope. We save. But at the same time, we also need to update the horoscope text. So we go horoscope text, horoscope, oops, dot message. Oh. We can't have message as nil now, can we? Why was that a thing? Last time we marked it as optional, and I can't remember why. I think we set it up so that we could still store it. We don't want it to work. We want it to fail if it's broken, right? We don't want that. Why did we do that? Does anyone remember? Anyone here last time? Latest. Should always be a message that it should not get stored without some text in there. Okay, cool. We are done. So if I change this back to the service, this makes more sense now to use here because it's a service. It's not a view model, which means I can call it from anywhere in the app now. I could do that anyway, but I just feel more comfortable now that it's named something correct. And then what we can do is we can have we have error handling here too. So that's cool. So what we can do is we can reschedule if it breaks, right? There's no point printing it because no one's going to see it. I'm going to do it anyway. All right. Okay. Now that we've got this, what I can do is I can go let horoscope, and then we got this await, and I think it's try await. Yes. Now we got the horoscope. Let's store it. So do we have our storage, or is it in here? I think model container is there. Do we get access to it as a modifier? I'm pretty sure we get access to it if I move this background task into here. This will be an interesting experiment, right? I guess it doesn't matter too much right now. So what we'll do is I'll grab this. Actually, yeah, we need the model context. And we need to save. So this is the other thing. How do we get access to the model context? All right, so let me I'll paste this here so I've got an idea of what I need to do. So we need to get access to this model context somehow from here. On the horoscope view here, we have this, but it's passed as an environment, which I think that's what this is. So I don't think we can put these up here. Probably don't need do we need the query there? No. And that'll give us access to that. However, do we have access right now in here if that's up there? Probably not. All right. A little think. And this is difficult to test, right? Can we test it? Do we get an option in the simulator to test this? Like run a background. Let's go background. Nope. Device. Screenshots. Debug. I don't know what to do about this. I'm trying to think of something like a nice clean way of making this work, but I feel like we might have to pull this into here. Right, like on a peer. I guess it keeps them close together, yeah? Background task needs to be on, it needs to be on a scene. What if instead of that, we got model container for daily horoscope self? I might have to do a little bit of a search on this one. Just to make sure I got this right. It's got model container 4 and then this is going to be really difficult to search. Oh, hang on. I found something on a forum. No, it's gone. Wait. SwiftUI does not work on a background task even inside a custom model actor. Oh no. Two stores. Swift data. Oh no. I've created an actor for the model container in order to perform a data load. When starting the app in the background, for this I have conformed to the model actor protocol and created the necessary elements, even preparing for test. Excuse me, in preparing for test data. Then I create a function of type async throws to perform the database loading process, and everything works fine in that the data is loaded, and when loaded, it is displayed reactively. So, okay, so this is the thing that does the loading. So they're just loading from the disk, I guess. I started doing the load inside a task, and there's no problem. When starting the app, it stops responding to the UI while loading the user interactions, which gives me to understand that actually the task that should be in the background thread is running somehow over the main actor. Well, yeah, because you've got... Oh, model actor. I haven't even seen that. Do we even do that? Is that something we need to put on our functions? Because the app was running fine the other week. Background operation, especially concurrent threads. Main context, which is explicitly tied to the main actor, restricting use of the main thread. This becomes problematic when interfering with a custom API, where data needs to be frequently sent or received from a server. Create background context. Developers are forced to resort to the model actor protocol, which mandates use of actors, context. This context. Ideally, Swift Data should offer an out-of-the-box background context rather than requiring developers to set up manually. Ooh, okay. Yeah, how are we going to save this? This is a pretty big oversight if it doesn't work. Because I can imagine a lot of people needing to do this. Like, that would be the whole purpose of loading content in the background. Like, what are you supposed to do with the data once it's loaded? It would just disappear if you couldn't save it. Okay. All right. Seems like detached works for me. Ooh, interesting. Where's this container coming from? Model context. And they're still getting the context passed through there. So if I need to save this, so go model context, insert, save. Okay, so this is a bit of a different setup to what I've got, right? So they're trying to like run stuff. This is going to require some testing. I don't know if I can do this on stream. I have to do this off stream because it's just going to get really tedious and boring. If it isn't already. So I think for now, what I'll do is I'll run this. I'll throw this in here. All right. So this is what we want to do, essentially. But I get the feeling this isn't going to work. Cross-active boundary, non-sendable type model context in implicitly asynchronous access to main actor isolated property model context cannot cross actor boundary. Okay, so there's actually a warning here for this, it seems. And I think what we might be able to get away with is, can we test the detach? Is this going to work for us? Is this going to be terrible again? No, not. Okay, it's not that easy. Let's just do a search for that. Testing the first beta for 16.4. Okay, so this is older stuff. That's okay. So what are they doing? They've got a function which is get data. Okay. See here. Sorry everyone, I'm just doing a lot of reading right now. This is pretty much how development goes. So the issue is that CK record is not sendable, so the worry is that the different threads could change the same CK record objects, thus causing problems. There is a dangerous way to turn off the warnings. Conform to sendable. So non-sendable type model context. In implicitly asynchronous access to main actor isolated property. cannot cross actor boundary, so the dictionary is said to exit main actor isolated context and cross actor boundary because view controller is a main actor class, but my class isn't. So because this is a warning, I am wondering if we can get away with it because we're not, nothing else is happening with this model context except for in the background. Like we're not, I feel like, look, I'm not an expert on this, right? But it seems like this is only presenting us a warning because it's like, be careful. What you're doing could be an issue if you're doing something else at the same time, right? So because we're only doing this, I think we're okay. Let's just leave it for now and we'll move on. I'll keep the warnings there so that's a reminder for next time, but let's keep this and then we'll work on scheduling a we'll finish the horoscope reading thing. So what we need to do is probably throw another one of these down here, right? So once it's done, let's do this at the same time actually, so that like before it fails, so that probably makes more sense. So what we'll do is we'll schedule one of these. When the background task runs, we'll run another one of these. And then what we need to do is set a date and time for the schedule to work. Let's await. That's so weird, because it doesnst have it there. I think it's got something to do with that. It's got something to do with like background threads and stuff. Yeah, but what I want to do is set up the correct date for these so they run at 5 past midnight every time. And then what we'll do is we'll get on to doing a notification. So that'll work. And I think the notification should have a little bit of text from the horoscope that was fetched. So we'll take a look at that. Maybe we can make more of a dynamic notification, something that's a bit more interesting to look at, that will encourage people to tap on it. So I think I've got an app here that I've used that sends you notifications when it's... Let me have a look. I don't know if I've got any from earlier today. No, I wiped them all. That's okay. All it says is like the app sent you a notification and doesn't actually have the text in it. So you know how sometimes like you get a message from someone and you can still like read a little bit of the text and then like you can tell if it's important enough or not to, like if someone's replying to you and it's just like, okay, you don't need to open up the messages app to read that. It's just on your, on the, with all the rest of the notifications. I want to do the same here. I want to like, maybe we could have the horoscopes start out with something a little bit more juicy and you got like the first couple of sentences or something. We'll see how we go. So I think the next step, so what we want to do is I'll open up that tutorial again. We'll take a look here because it looks like it's got something to do with dates where we can schedule these things. So I'll just close this off and move this across. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so this is what they've got for their background task. We have created our own, so we'll just continue through here. As you can see in the example above, we run the background task we use the background task modifier to register an app refresh handler for a particular identifier. Yes, that there. SwiftUI relies on the new Swift concurrency feature and allows us to build complex async jobs using the async await syntax. It also fully supports cooperative cancellation. You can quickly check if your task is out of background runtime using the static is cancelled property on the task type. Oh, how long have we got? Because sometimes it takes a while to generate these horoscopes. Whenever you need a long-running task like downloading a file, you should use an instance of URL session with background configuration. In this case, you can handle task suspension and continue your work later. Oh, this is going to be tricky. I guess this is the point where it makes sense to have our own server running this. because then the server can just hit up ChatGPT and just wait as long as it takes for a response to come back through. We've found that, okay, so running this does take some time. I think you only get like 30 seconds or a minute. Well, how long do you get? Well, I'll look it up in a second, but if we just open up the daily horoscope, we'll sit here, we're just waiting for it to load. Let me do a search. So we go iOS background task time limit and see what we get. Oh, well, that's plenty of time. 10 minutes, that's plenty of time. That doesn't seem right. Let's have a look. How do I run code in the background every... Ooh, we got an error here. This might have something to do with the fact that, like, we changed message from nil. I think this is the reason. Yeah, I feel like we had this issue last time, and that's why we used an optional message. But we'll get back to that in a second. Strict limits on background execution is default behavior. Suspend your app shortly after the user's moved to the background. This suspension prevents the process running in code. No, that's not what we want. We wanted... I just want a number. Does anyone know what the number is? Okay, it has a limitation of 30 seconds. What is this? What is this website? It's like a copy of Stack Overflow. What do we got? Oh, man. Yeah, I think it's 30 seconds. Okay, so to combat that, what I need to do is shorten the amount of text that comes back in the horoscope. I think it's quite long anyway. So I say we just limit the number of, sorry, we'll just say like 2 paragraphs or something. And that should respond much faster. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work, then we get nothing back. It fails, and then the user just opens up the screen. They can just sit there and wait for it to load. So it's not that huge of an issue. So what error have we got here? We've got failed to find a currently active container for currently active container. Let's see what we got here in the debug area. Yep. Task model isn't complex. Right. Not correctly initiated yet at that point. Initializing the container prior to passing it in seems to fix it. So what do we got? We've got model container. Interesting. Oh, let's do it that way. I wonder if this is okay. Let's take a look at this. This is an interesting way of doing it. So because on the dashboard view, what do we got? Nothing there. So we create, it gets passed through here. I don't like the no, I don't like doing it that way either. Yeah, this is a tricky one. Just do a little refresh to see what we get here. Try one more time to load this. Maybe that was a once off. Because it's worked before. I'm hoping it's got nothing to do with the nil value there. It crashes when it comes back because that's at that point it's trying to save it to the store. Yeah, so there's a problem saving it to the store. No errors are thrown in the do block. Yeah, so what we can do is move that so we get into here. It's a bit weird because there is. We've got this try here. So why wouldn't errors be thrown? Everything seems broken today. What? Well, like, why? Is it because of the task? Is it because we need to wrap the entire thing in a task? And then that problem will go, that error will go away. Yeah, so weird. Okay, so the task breaks the do catch thing. Let's do another reload of the app and then see how we go. I'll open up that there, keep that to the side. You know, streams always start off really strong and then they, you know, I always get into like a bit of a roadblock and have to figure out, you know, like any good story, there's conflict and then hopefully the resolution pays off at the end of this, but I always get so worried that it doesn't. Okay, so we still got an error. That's okay. Yeah, failed to find a currently active container. It should be active though, because we have it set up. This should be correct. So we've done this. We've got that there, which is correct. Oh, maybe we have a look in here. So we've got default value is date.now. Default value is nil. I wonder if we need to add a default value. Because I don't want there to be. I don't want to have to do that. A default value kind of sucks. Yeah, that was the problem. That's so annoying. Is there a way? Does anyone know of a way that I can not have, like, I want there to have to be a message. I don't want it just to be like an empty string. The way I've got the code set up now, this should never happen, because what happens is if it comes back, if the text comes back and it's empty, we don't create this object and store it. Okay, so if a message is empty when it comes back from ChatGPT, we just don't do this. We throw an error. So it should never get to the point where, like, there shouldn't ever be a daily horoscope in storage that has an empty string in there. But I don't like the way this is. I think it's fine for now. It seems to work. Okay, so All right, I'll just make this a little bit larger so you can have a little bit of a read if you feel like it while I'm messing with everything else in here. So let's pop that open. So the tone I've got set for this is conspiracy theorist. That's the tone I've got going on. All right, so we can close these. You can have a read of that while I'm still reading other stuff. Can you hear my dog breathing in the background? He just had a massive stretch. He looks very, very comfortable. That's it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read through this next section now. So we also use whenever our task is cancelled, we create a download task that we save by the system and run later. That's pretty cool. So you can just like retry it again later, like save what you're going to run. Neat. In this case, no. So I'll change the phase, schedule app refresh. Background task is a file download. These are just examples, I guess. File download, and then we've got handle your background URL session events here. Yes. Okay, so we can handle events from URL session with background configuration by using the background task modifier with a particular identifier. I am wondering if we need to do this. Move this into the so instead of background task and app refresh, we might need to do URL session instead, because it does run a URL session in here. So let's just do that. Handle your background URL session events here. Yeah. Okay, so debugging. The only way to debugging background tasks is to keep your phone connected to Xcode debugger, but we don't know when iOS will decide to run our jobs because it uses some hidden logic for that. Yeah, so you can schedule it. Luckily, Apple provides 2 private functions which we can use in the debugger to start and expire background tasks. Oh, thank you. Please remember that you can use it only during development. Don't include them in the release. Okay, so for starting background task, pause your app and run the debugger. This code with the task identifier. Okay, so this is going to be awesome. Oh, this is the end. Don't forget to replace task identifier with the real identifier. Okay, so I must have skipped over the bit where we're talking about dates and stuff. So let's just go back up and have a look. Okay, schedule app refresh. There it is. Okay, so let's change the request time. So this is the request here. This is exactly what I was after. So what we want to do is earliest begin date. Okay, so the reason why it has stuff like the earliest begin date and that is because you can't actually demand, like you can't say iOS, you must run at this particular time. It will do it sometime after the time that you schedule. So what will happen is like you've got your phone, right? And maybe it's been locked for a couple of hours, and maybe iOS goes through all the background tasks for all the apps once per hour. Maybe it does it every 10 minutes. I don't know what works like in internals. Maybe it runs the background tasks when you unlock your phone and you're going off to do something other in a different app, right? So like the whole idea of this is so that increases battery life. So that's why they're not going to like let you run background tasks whenever you feel like it. This also allows them to put a limit on how often they run. So what would be awful is if there was like, we know that like social media apps are probably going to do this, where it's like every minute it's just going to do like a query to like update and get knowledge of what other apps are installed on your device, where you are, your location, things like that. We want to avoid that sort of stuff. So remember back in the day, I mean, it still happens now, I guess, but Uber had this thing where they would track the user's location after they'd been dropped off. So remember that? That was like a big thing in the news where someone discovered that Uber were like watching where users went for like 30 seconds or something after they got dropped off. The max amount of time, whatever the app will allow the background stuff to continue on once the app was like closed and stuff. So there's some limitations around that, and that's why we've got this earliest begin date. Oh, hello meme. How are you doing? So I don't know what other ones are on here. So we've got earliest begin date. Is that all we get? We got any others in here? Is that it? Well, I don't know what other ones you would want to have. I don't know. Does this have some documentation here? So yeah, it's the only one. Excuse me. It's the only one we get. That's cool. So it's aptly named. So let's do a little read. It says, sending the property indicates that the background task shouldn't start any earlier than this date. However, the system doesn't guarantee launching the task at the specified date, but only that it won't begin sooner. Excellent. So instead of adding time interval, so like when the app launches, we don't want to do this. What we want to do is we want to set, we want to use the calendar. I think we want to use calendar and just say, okay, so how does this work? So let's say I open this up at, I download the app, open it at 5 p.m. I want it to schedule. We want to do midnight in the user's locale, so calendar. And the reason why we're doing midnight is because it's like the earliest time we can make this request because it's a daily horoscope, right? So it needs to be every day, and I want it to be ready for them as early as possible. We could do 2 a.m., 3 a.m., it doesn't matter. Current, oh man, date from, how do we do this? Date after start of day 4. Can we do like tomorrow? Start of day 4. I guess technically we could add 24 hours or so and then just go the day before that, but I want to be more correct. I think what we can do is we can use date components for this, correct? So I haven't done this in a long time. Ooh, what do we need here? How do we make an adjustment to this? So can we go date? I'm just going to search it. Yeah, we're going to do these components. Oh, wow. Objective C. Okay. Oh, here we go. So we can do this. We can go calendar, current, date by adding date components, day. Oh, wait. Wait. Sorry, one sec. We gotta create components. Select components. Date components. Day equals 1. Does this work? Does this look right to everybody? So we're adding 1, right? So we've set this to 1 by adding 1 to now. And then we just do I feel like there's supposed to be a cleaner way of doing this. We want to do start of day. We don't want to just go one day ahead. So equals calendar current. Sorry, I'm a bit messy right now. So we just go date by adding components to now. So this is today's date. I guess the other thing we could do, which would be incorrect, okay, is get the current time now and then add 24 hours to it and then get the start of day for that. Because if there's like a change in, like daylight savings and stuff, where a day loses an hour or gains an hour, you may end up being on the same day or a day after that what you planned to be on. So let's go tomorrow. And then we just pass through start of day. Okay, so date. This could break, couldn't it? What's the best way to handle an issue with this? I mean, we got this working, but then if this schedule doesn't create itself because it can't find the day, tomorrow's day. I'm not doing anything too complex here, so it should be okay. It should never fail. But if it does, they're going to have a gap in their history. And if it doesn't run, the next one won't get set, and they could have a gap of a few days in their history. We need a way to correct this, I guess. Hello, I started my journey a while ago. I'm trying to learn other frameworks, but it seems like everyone only teaches SwiftUI. How can I learn other frameworks? Are there any good books or advice? I'm not very good at English, so it'd be great if you chat and I will translate into your notes. Read Apple's documentation, but it's confusing. Yeah, Apple's documentation can be confusing. The only thing I can really advise you on, like, you can watch videos of the old content too. You don't have to find up-to-date UI kit tutorials that are from this year. You can look back a couple of years. Like, a lot of stuff's still relevant. But this website is pretty good. I don't know about languages and stuff, but they do break things down into like they got beginner stuff as well, and they cover all sorts of things. They've got books and videos, and there's also forums you can go talk to people with if you don't understand a particular book or a chapter. They have a forum where you can make a post talking about that chapter and then getting some information back out, like, getting people to help you with it. There are other online courses and stuff. I think Kodeco is the best. They've been around the longest as well. I'm on there, so am I on there still? Yeah, this is me. There I am. So I've written articles for them as well. And they cover all sorts of stuff, right? So you've got, I don't know if you can see, let me move that across. So you've got iOS and Swift, which has articles and books. So you can get whole books, Android, Flutter, server-side Swift. The articles are pretty cool. There's learning paths, so you can actually just like follow from like article to article, I guess. So you start out with like beginning stuff. So this is SwiftUI, but they also have stuff on UIKit, which they do keep up to date, by the way. I mean, they try to keep stuff up there because every time Apple will still release new UI kit stuff, and they'll have articles for that too. So it's all fairly up to date. iOS user interfaces with UI kit, so this is another framework. I don't know what you mean by other frameworks. The only other frameworks we really have on iOS is UI kit and SwiftUI. They're the main UI frameworks. If you're talking about other stuff, the golden era was Windows XP. Yeah, I think you're right. I switched over to Mac OS in like 2011, 2010 when I started developing, but before that it was all Windows. And I think around the time, what did we have, like 2000, what is it? 2007 was like Vista and stuff, right? And then a little bit after that, they still didn't quite fix everything. That kind of got me, turned me off Windows that era. It's much better now, but I guess it didn't help with my transition across to Mac OS. I was like, let's get out of there. It's terrible. One thing that I wish I did get at the time was one of those Windows phones, and I have been looking online to see if I can find like a used one, because I just thought that their ideas, their UI was just so, I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was cool. It's terrible, but I thought it was cool. But XP, playing like Diablo 2. Those are the days. It was good. Okay, let's continue writing some code. I think I'm finished with the background task stuff. It remains to be seen whether this actually works for us, if we can get a result coming back within the 30 seconds that the background task gives us. Whether it's going to have access to the Swift data store, because that could be locked when the device is locked. So sometimes you can't get access to things that are like locked behind the keypad unlock. Like your app will try and run something in the background, but if it doesn't have permission to access things like the keychain, it'll just fail. It won't. The iOS doesn't give you access to secure parts of the device when it's locked. But we'll see how that goes. I think what I want to do now is notifications. What do you mean by that? Chrome OS doesn't get hot. What do you mean by that? It doesn't get hot because there's nothing in it, right? It doesn't do anything. All right. Yeah, exactly. Low CPU usage. Doesn't do anything. I'm making a joke, but I don't think. Can you play? I suppose Steam's on Chrome OS, isn't it? Can you play games on it? Right. Notifications. So we want to do local notifications. Push. I guess we can call it push notifications. Swift iOS guide. Let's follow another guide on this. Quick guide on local notifications for iOS. Different ways and handle them. Cool. Okay, so what I'll do is I will put. Let's see if this is any good. Get users permission, which we'll need to ask for when the app launches, or. Okay, so what we need to do. I won't do this on this stream, but when. Yeah, it's still there. So when the app first launches, we get this, like they can input their information. What we might do is put it in a bit of a flow and say, like after this screen, we'll show the notification prompt. Like it'll be a whole separate screen. We'll make it all beautiful, and we'll say, hey, we need to, would you like to know when your daily horoscope is ready? We'll send you a notification, and that'll be the next screen, and then that's when they need to do an accept, because we can't trigger a notification when the app's in the background if they haven't accepted notifications, right? And we also don't want to like do it as soon as the app first opens. Like you don't want to force the user to accept a notification for something that they don't understand. So you need to like put it in the process, or maybe we can put it on the daily horoscope screen, right? So it'll load. And then we can say, hey, would you like to be notified when the new one comes out? Don't know. But we'll do that later, or I'll do it off stream. What I want to do on stream is just finish the notification stuff. So we've got a cool article here. What I'll do is, this is the one I'll use. I will put this in chat, and then before I forget, I'll add it to the description of the video right now. 1 second. Tutorial. Gotta make sure I get this right. I'll save that there. Okay. Let's keep going. So yeah, I'll get this all set up so that as if it would be working, and then we need to get permission at some other steps. So, okay, so get user permission. We will need to drop this code somewhere. So this will be on a button on after this screen, after the onboarding. We'll put a button there that says, yes, I would like notifications. So they have to tap the button. It'll give the OS alert, and then they tap yes again. And then what I'll do is, if they haven't set up notifications, every single time they go to the daily horoscope, we'll just have something like at the bottom, which is like, get notified, and you tap that, it'll show yeah. I think that'd be pretty seamless. And then people know why they're opting for notifications, right? Like, they'd be more likely to say yes if it's so that they can know when these are ready. Create the content of a local notification. After asking for permission, the first step is to send a local notification to create its content. The content of a local notification is represented by unmutable notification content type. So we can create one. We can play a sound. In the above example, we set the title, body, and sound properties. For a native sound, we could just set it to default. Looking up sounds for this will be kind of fun. I will probably not do that on stream. I'll just use what we've got here. I think you can use custom ones as well if we have them in the app. So maybe we can do like a sparkly kind of sound, or maybe the sound is based on the tone of the horoscope. So it would be really great if we could use like X-Files, part of the tune for this. Maybe I can make something up that's similar but not infringing copyright. And then we've got some others here. So in the above example, yep. So there are more options available. For example, the badge property that specifies the number to apply to the app's icon when notification arrives. Probably won't do any badges. We don't need that. Schedule a local notification, so we can schedule it. We want this to happen immediately after we have finished our background task. So if our background task comes through and everything is fine, we get a save here and it works. We want to post notification here. So this is what we'll do. And then this gets presented to the user. So what we might do is have like another function here and notify user. We might have more notifications in the future. So instead of just saying notify user, I'll say notify user of new horoscope. Oof, yeah, it's fine. You can probably hear my dog got up and he's having a little drink. It looks like a good idea, actually. Yeah, good boy. Okay. All right. Repeats true. No, we don't want it to repeat. We want to create one every single time. So the following time interval trigger example triggers the notification in 10 minutes from now. We want to do it now. The following location trigger. So we can do it based on location. That's cool. On exit, on entry. So this is a pretty good article, actually. It sort of covers most things. I think all we need is this and this. So that's the trigger. I think we also need to register the request. So we've got an ID, we've got the content, and we've got the trigger. Yeah, okay. So we need the content for it. We need a trigger, and then we need to put both of those into a request. Okay. So we can do that. We need the content. So I think we will pass through the horoscope here, which will be the daily horoscope, because that has the content on it. And then what I'll do is I'll just notify user of new horoscope, and then we'll just go horoscope, pass that through. Got an error, so we need to go await. Excuse me. It's kind of weird. We got this background task and we have to mark this as await, even though it's not a this doesn't have an async on it, which is strange. I'll do some more reading on this and how these background tasks work in the future, so I can probably better explain it to you. That's if we even revisit this. I think off stream I'm going to fix these and do some testing. I think they'll be boring for you to watch. If you want to watch me do the testing, we could do that. I just think people are just going to skip past it. So okay, scroll up, let content, mute and mutable notification content, content dot title, and this will be daily horoscope is here. We could adjust this as well based on the tone that a user has set. So we could put a few different strings here. So, well, like if we want excessive profanity, we could say like, wake up, mother effer, or something like that. Your horoscope is here. We could say stoner. We could just be like, yo, bro, guess what's on for today? Don't know. We could randomize them as well, so we could have five different titles for each, so that we've got a little bit of variation to them. For now, we just go with the body. We'll just stick with what we've got here, and this is going to be the horoscope message. And then I think what we want to do is like prefix. I don't know. What's through up to what's the difference between all these? Max length. What do we got? It'd be nice if I could like prefix a number of words. I think I could get away. I could do that. I could get the string separated by spaces and then just get the first X elements from it. But I think cutting off words and stuff should be okay. So this is what I want to do. I want to say up to, or I don't know, let's say 50 characters. Does that work? All right, let's do max. Let's just do the max length. So we got 50. Doesn't return string. That's fine, because what I can do is I can wrap it, and then we've got ourselves a string. And then what I'll have is this the dot. There's a proper. Not the right one. The bottom one? I guess that's good. I think that's a single character, so we're not wasting space, right? That's why we want to use those, because it's a single character. The sound, we don't care about the sound because it's going to trigger when a user is like sleeping, so who cares about the sound at this point? So let's not worry about that. And then scroll down and we'll have a look at the trigger. notification trigger. We don't want it to repeat. We'll just set it to 0. We want it to, as soon as the OS can allow it to happen, we'll send the notification, allow it to happen. And then we need to combine these together into a request. So let's just go with request. I was going to do the little ID line. I thought, I'll just wrap it all together. UN notification request. And the identifier will be UID string. The content is the content. And the notification, the trigger is the trigger. And then we make a request. Notification center current. It's weird that it's still got the parentheses there. Must still be like an Objective-C thing or something. Request. And if there's an error, we don't care. We don't care about the error. So I'm not going to handle it. If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through. The only thing you can really do if there's an error is just like call it again, but it doesn't really matter, does it? So I think that's it. I think we're like kind of done. So let's just do a quick recap, and then I think we're done for tonight. I've already been on stream for what, like almost 2 hours, which is pretty good. Any longer than that, I think people tend to lose interest, right? So okay, so a quick recap. So what we did this time around, we created a background task that will download the horoscope from the horoscope service, which is a ChatGPT. So we got our prompt here. We need to make the prompt, like you need to tell them, limit it to 250 words. We might need to reduce that or change it to a number of paragraphs because it is quite long, that text. So continue. You see that the text is quite long. I think even 3 paragraphs might be better. Like I love the extra text, but I am worried that when we're running this in the background, it's going to take too long and the OS will kill the background task. We can do some testing, figure that out later. So what we did as well, we changed horoscope view model because it was on this screen. It still is. We changed it to horoscope service. We added a throws and it now returns daily horoscope. So before we had a published property up here that would get updated down here. Now we just actually do a return. And we have a throws, which means we can handle errors better elsewhere. And it also sets this up to be more of a service than, or like a model object we can pass around rather than, or use in other areas of the app. Sorry, rather than a view model. I didn't like the idea of it being a view model and then using it on the entry point to the app because it's not a view model in this scope. So I wanted to make changes to that. And plus, the upside is that now we get to catch errors and stuff, and we always have a return. It's never going to be like nil, or we don't have an optional return here. We also had it so that the sign can be passed through as optional because we had issues with using an optional in this background task. That was just the quickest way I could think about fixing it. So as soon as I made the change here and added this, I thought, okay, this isn't going to work anymore. Because there's nothing indicating that something could go wrong. We don't want to set what the property was up here to nil. But anyway, so now we can handle more errors and stuff. It's really great. I can keep adding more in here if we need to. I think that's this is all the GPT response stuff. This is what comes back when we do a decode. We also, because we return the actual horoscope now, the messages will never be empty, which is great. So we've actually put a set up this here so that it will throw if the message comes back empty. So we're no longer setting or returning a string that's like, oh, there was an error or something like. We can actually catch the errors. And so what we got, where is it? See here. So I can actually set the horoscope text now to could not load your horoscope at this time. I can also toggle on or off a retry button, which is awesome. Couldn't do that before. We can do it now that we're throwing our errors correctly. And then we added notifications. So what happens at the end of this process, so what we do is we do a background task. We set up a new background task immediately for the next day. So as soon as this background task runs, we set up a new one straight away. So it will run again tomorrow. And then once we actually get the horoscope that comes back, we inform the user that we with a notification. Off stream, I still need to test the background stuff. So I am worried that it's not going to work with Swift data. It's not going to save it. There might be some security things around that I need to navigate. And plus I got these warnings. So this is a threading thing, I believe. Do people build apps with PHP anymore? I made hexagram generated in ChatGPT. Oh, okay. Do they build with PHP anymore? I'm sure they do. I know a few people who probably still do it because that's what they spent most of their career working on. So it'd be like if they were to go indie or something like that, they'd probably jump straight to PHP. There's nothing wrong with PHP. Just, more modern stuff comes out, I guess. There was a startup that I worked for where the entire thing, this was 2015, 2014. The entire system was PHP. It probably still is. I'm getting hungry. I think that's kind of it. There was something else I wanted to say about next time. Well, I keep going out of frame. Lean back in my chair. Oh yeah, so I want to continue this whole series. I think I'm having a lot of fun with it. I know it's probably not great for my channel on YouTube, and like the live streams have been good. The problem is it takes like a week to edit a proper video, and I really want to cover like reference versus value types. I know that's a topic that probably most of us here know, but I did one recently on closures, and while it didn't like do too well with the algorithm and that, I think it's the best video on Swift closures that, well, at least that I could find. It just explains everything, breaks it all down to really simple terms, and I want to do the same with reference versus value. I want to explain it multiple different ways in one video so that it's like the go-to video for reference versus value types. But to create that, it takes like a whole week, and I finally will have some time now that client work is finished, so I'll do that. I want to keep doing streams. I want to do them twice a week. So what I'm getting at now, mine's all over the place. I want to keep doing this app. I want to finish it over a series of videos. I don't think we've got too much further to go. It doesn't look great. Like, we need to pretty up this screen. I want to do daily affirmations. I also want to do like moon or planetary stuff in here. The ability to share the horoscopes on like social media, or do an export of a nice image. So on your phone, it's kind of like, you get like the thin amount of text and it's really tall. I was thinking maybe we can widen a bit, make it like a certificate style, shareable image, something nice. I want to fix up a little bit on these. So I love the particle stuff that we got going here, but this all needs to be fixed up as well. I need to put in text for all of these. So I guess we got maybe like 5 more sessions of this to go. But alongside that, I want to do other streams on other content, and I really want to make a first-person game in SwiftUI. Now, it sounds better than what it's going to be. I'm not going to give anything away on it, but that will be coming up soon on a separate day. First-person game. It's not a shooter. It's just a first-person game. We walk through a maze built in SwiftUI. And I have a few ideas on how I'm going to make that work. So that'd be really cool. And that'll be like a once-off stream, and then I'll do a whole bunch of once-off streams. So each week will be something new plus something old, which is this app. And then once I finish this app, I'll start another big long series, and alongside the long series, we'll have a shorter 2-hour sessions of just like, we'll build this app. I'll go back to doing the Dribble redesigns and stuff. We'll do a banking app. We're going to do all sorts of stuff coming up. So that's what I'm super excited about. That it's just this is my list of there's a lot stuff that I need to get through, plus my own apps that I'm working on at the moment. So, but I think that's it. I think I'm done. probably see you all next week. I'll be here again, but I'm moving the next weekend, so I should have a much bigger space. You'll be able to see me and Stream Deck and everything all set up. Anyway, I better go because I'm just rambling, but I want to thank everyone for joining me. Join the Discord. There's a link in the description for that. Best place to talk to me if you want to ask questions about stuff outside the stream. I am on Twitter, but I don't have links for that because I'm trying to not go on Twitter. That's it. Looking forward to all the streams, videos. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.